Imagine a village consumed by a witch hunt.
The things that the people of Salem endured in 1692 were totally horrific.
A whole community who are educated and thoughtful believe themselves to be doing the absolute right thing.
Thought that this was their duty.
I'm not a witch. No.
That makes it all the more horrific.
And keep us, your humble servants, the devil from our midst.
The witch hunt is on. It's a brutally cold night in January. Abigail Williams and Betty Paris are trying to find imaginative ways to pass the time. As it gets later, they decide to try to predict their futures with something called a Venus glass.
They were trying to see who would be their future husbands, who they might marry someday.
Though they know that any kind of fortune-telling is off limits, the two young girls can't resist consulting the cup to see if the shape of the egg white will reveal important clues about their future husbands.
What can you see?
Supposedly, the egg white coalesced in the bottom of the glass in the shape of a coffin.
Does that mean the man you marry will die?
The girls are horrified by the disturbing results.
In an environment where they had been taught that dabbling in any kind of magic, any kind of occult activities, no matter how seemingly harmless, were really a way of allowing the devil to enter into your soul, they would have been terrified by this.
You've done something forbidden, and then something weird happened, and so you really feel like, what have I dabbled in? What door have I opened?
The Puritans are convinced of their religious righteousness. All who disagree with them are damned. It has a lot of connections to a cult-like community.
Sunday was the day of rest after a very hard-working week, and the rest consisted of 8 hours of going to meeting.
I must warn you all of the devil's hostility towards this church. Lord,
And presiding over the service was Salem Village's minister, Samuel
call
Paris.
upon thee, and grant that
Who the minister was of paramount importance. And they'd had a series of ministers who hadn't gone over particularly well with the congregation at Salem Village. And in 1689, the newest minister, Samuel Paris, arrived.
and it is imperative that we keep our town.
He was not initially called to the church. He had a sort of mixed and varied career, including running a plantation into the ground in Barbados, coming to Boston and making a hash of being a businessman, and then coming to Salem Village, where he immediately made himself disagreeable with the villagers.
And I remind you all, only through grace can one enter God's kingdom.
Samuel Paris lives in the church's 2-bedroom residence, which he shares with his wife Elizabeth and the 2 girls who had dabbled in fortune-telling, his niece and maid Abigail Williams and his daughter Betty.
Christ sits at God's right hand and intercedes for sinful humanity. Sometimes
Samuel Paris's household would not have been one of a lot of light and a lot of joy.
the Lord your God, he it is, 50th for you. Betty? What's the matter? See through it, will you?
Paris asks his enslaved servant Tituba to help Betty.
Betty began exhibiting strange symptoms.
The first symptoms were of crawling under chairs and talking in a disconnected way, and nobody being able to figure out why.
I met with the village committee today. about not receiving my firewood.
I think Betty Paris and Abigail Williams were undoubtedly aware of the social tensions that were swirling in Salem at the time.
Once Samuel Paris's daughter Betty began to exhibit the symptoms of these violent fits, it soon spread to another member of the Paris household, Abigail Williams.
Betty? Betty?
I think the attention that the girls were able to receive and channel was probably intoxicating.
The town's minister, Samuel Paris, is desperate to understand the cause of their illness.
Is that sore? Does that hurt at all?
Unsurprisingly, the doctor can't find anything physically wrong with Betty or with Abigail.
Instead of diagnosing a physical cause, the doctor suggests something far more disturbing.
I'm sorry, but I think she's under the influence of an evil hand.
Meaning that he suspected bewitchment.
Because they believed in such a very active invisible world, their explanations sound today to us to be superstitious maybe, or unrealistic, but everyone in that time period believed that magic was real and that there was an invisible world that influenced your daily life.
Folk magic practices were a common way to try and protect yourself from the evils of witchcraft. But there was always a question as to what would be considered acceptable and what would be seen as demonic. Because of this, Tituba waits until the Parises are out of sight before attempting the remedy recommended by Mary Sibley, a form of counter magic known as a witch cake.
What are you doing?
I'm making a very special cake that's going to make the both of you feel better.
A witch cake was a traditional English remedy for witchcraft.
To make a witch cake, you take some rye meal, you collect urine from the afflicted girls, mix it together into like a paste, bake it into a biscuit, and then feed the biscuit to the dog.
Once we bake this, it will tell us everything that we need to know.
There are two ways that they thought that this might free the girls from bewitchment. One thought was that perhaps it would cause the bewitchment to travel out of the bodies of the girls and into the body of the dog. Another way it might work was it was believed that the act of bewitching someone created a kind of correspondence relationship between the witcher and the witchy. So the munching up of the cake by the dog would cause the witch's body to feel munched up, and she would then release the children.
Let's bake this.
What have you done? You brought this into my
When
home!
Paris found out about it, he went incandescent.
He is incensed.
Who else knows about this? Who?
He even intimates that this act was skating right up to the line of the crime of witchcraft.
You know what you've done? You brought the devil upon my home!
He called this going to the devil for help against the devil.
Get in now!
Accounts from the time say that he even savagely beat Tituba.
Tituba's attempt to help the girls will have severe and tragic consequences.
When the girls first started to perform their afflictions, they didn't name anyone.
That will suddenly change when the girls begin to have visions of the dark forces attacking them.
The girls begin to see specters.
These specters are ghostly versions of the witch who can attack their victim from afar.
Betty.
Paris kept asking, who is it that afflicts you?
Who hurt you?
Tituba hurt us.
They named Tituba, the woman who had been a part of their lives really since they can remember.
Why have the girls turned on Tituba? And what will happen to the devoted servant now?
Samuel Paris calls to his household a number of preeminent thinkers in Salem Village and also some from the surrounding areas.
Of course, I'm not only concerned for the girls' welfare, but for my own.
Among the experts that Paris calls in are Magistrate John Haythorne, fellow Minister Nicholas Noyes, and Thomas Putnam.
I could quickly find myself out of the parsonage if it was known that Satan has moved in.
Samuel's concerns are valid, as I share them myself.
Paris still clings to the hope that there might be some natural cause for the girl's condition.
What remedies have been tried?
For 2 months, we've tried one home remedy after another.
People often assume that the Puritans automatically jumped to the devil being behind everything. But that's not the case. They actually were interested in seeing if there were natural causes behind the affliction symptoms of the young girls. But the men who came and observed Abigail and Betty pretty quickly came to the conclusion that they were being bewitched.
Do we know what might have given rise to their condition?
When Paris reveals that the girls have named Tituba as the source of their ailments, the men decide to question her.
Tituba's ethnicity almost certainly was Carib Indian. She looked different from the English colonists that she was forced to live among.
And even stranger,
Although she was a family intimate, the fact of her difference was something that was never forgotten.
They seem to know Tituba's whereabouts and what she does, even when she is nowhere in their sight.
As an enslaved woman, Tituba is in an extremely precarious position. Her response seems to be to try to placate people who are asking her questions.
Your master tells us that you have been practicing magic.
Tituba claims that her mistress on Barbados had actually been a witch and had actually taught her the test.
She taught you what?
What comes out very much about Tituba is that she was always trying to please.
Well, the obvious thought that arises here is that if Tituba was a witch herself, which is supposedly what the test yields, why would she accurately perform the test whose only goal is to expose her as a witch? Because if this test is to work, and if she is the one administering it, and if administering it will indict her, why would she do it?
Why are you doing this? Tell me.
Convinced that all of the family's problems can be solved if Tituba admits to being a witch, Paris tries to beat the confession from her. But Tituba stands firm.
Tell me!
Then, without warning, the terror begins to spread throughout Salem Village. Several other young girls start to show signs of attack by witchcraft.
Anne, what's wrong?
Less than a mile away, Mary Walcott also begins to writhe, choke, and babble.
There is, particularly among these young girls in Salem, a real susceptibility to these ideas. And so this spreads like wildfire. When they hear that these things have happened to the two girls in the house of the minister, then why would they not think that witches could come and afflict them?
It's not mutually exclusive that these girls could both believe deeply that they had been bewitched and that they reveled in the newfound power that this gave them.
Meanwhile, the girls in the parsonage continue to be attacked by Tituba's specter.
They were just contorted in extraordinary postures that looked as though they must be incredibly painful.
Leave them alone.
Paris asks Abigail if there is anyone else she can see besides Tituba.
Two women.
Who is it?
She furnishes two names, which are really pivotal.
Sarah Good.
And who else?
Sarah Osborne.
Both of these women are straight out of central casting for witchcraft.
The two women named by the girls fit the stereotypical image of a witch.
Sarah Good has been accused of being a witch before. She has an intensely quarrelsome reputation. Sarah Osborne, as well, is known to have a slippery tongue.
Now that the girls have named their tormentors, 4 village leaders led by Thomas Putnam decide to take action.
Thomas Putnam, along with several of his associates, lodged formal complaints against Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne.
The women will all be arrested, setting in motion a wave of panic that will shake Salem to its core. Salem Village is in uproar. Everyone is desperate to see Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne paraded through town in shackles as they are led to their fate.
An examination had to take place to see whether or not these initially accused witches had enough evidence against them to warrant a grand jury trial.
Witchcraft is a recognized crime, and the penalty is death by hanging.
In a typical witch trial, any sort of examination would have been a small and private affair. Salem already is different in that regard. Word has been spreading for weeks about the mysterious afflictions of the little girls. People have heard rumors about this. Rumors travel quickly then, as they do now. So people came from pretty far away.
People come from as far as Boston to see the examination, so they take on a circus-like atmosphere. This helps really feed the sense of anxiety and chaos within the village at that time, but it also feeds the rumor mill.
I think that's important to understand the public spectacle because it helps us to understand why the community of otherwise intensely intelligent, intensely devoted, caring, good people came to believe something that we now regard as so fantastical and beyond belief.
The plan is to hold the examinations in the Salem Village Tavern.
It was quite a to-do getting them there, not so much Tituba. I think she went quietly. But Sarah Good kept hitting out at people. She was a very aggressive personality. Sarah Osborne, I think, just wasn't very well.
But when they arrive at the tavern, it becomes clear that there are far too many people to fit everyone inside.
To the meeting house!
So they move to the largest building they have, the meeting house where the Puritans would have held their worship services.
The two people presiding over these early examinations are John Corwin and John Hawthorne, and they're not lawyers. They are merchants with an interest in the law.
Hawthorne, not an experienced jurist, seeks to trap these suspects through leading questions.
Sarah Good. What spirits are you familiar with?
None of this assuming somebody's innocent until they're proved guilty nonsense. He knows she's guilty. In his own mind, there's no question.
When did you first covenant with the devil?
I have never.
Do you not have a contract with the devil?
Finally, after several failed attempts to get a confession, Hawthorne turns to the afflicted girls.
Is this the woman that hurts you? Look at her.
The girls' reaction is shocking.
They're clearly manifesting their pain and torture to the audience.
They probably weren't legitimately afraid of the women that they were accusing of witchcraft. You would expect that the witch would turn all of her power against you, against the accuser.
The behavior of the afflicted girls is seen not just by the magistrates doing the examinations, but also by the townsfolk as strongly suggestive of guilt.
Sarah Good, do you not see now what you have done? Why do you not tell us the truth?
Why? Desperate to save herself, Sarah Good points the finger at the two other suspects.
You have brought other people to this meeting house with me.
And he said, what others?
Osborne.
Sarah Osborne hasn't been seen at meeting for some time. One school of thought holds that it's because she has taken up with a man who worked for her. So there is a sexual dimension to Sarah Osborne's alienation from the religious community.
Sarah Osborne.
Already convinced of Sarah Osborne's guilt, Haythorne immediately tries to get her to make a damning confession.
What evil spirits are you familiar with?
None.
In her attempt to clear her name, she testified that she was more likely to be bewitched than to be a witch. And she told a story about an apparition that she had seen.
I saw a dark specter.
But she slipped up and told the magistrates that this diabolical figure had warned her not to go to meeting, not to attend church. And in fact, she had not attended church for a year and a half at that time.
So you admit you confer with the devil himself?
Because of illness, but it appeared more sinister before the court.
Like Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne denies having any involvement in witchcraft. Finally, amid great anticipation, Tituba is called forward for the last interrogation.
Straight away, the girls just all started screaming and shouting.
Why do you hurt these children? What harm have they done to you?
I do no harm to them.
She starts out by denying that she is a witch.
I have done nothing.
And she sees that is not going well.
Does the devil tell you he hurts them?
And then her testimony shifts.
Tell me the truth. Who hurts them?
The devil, for all I know.
She reads the situation.
Ah.
She shifts immediately from being combative to being acquiescent. And she gives the court what the court seems to want.
I think she's incredibly savvy in certain ways. She realizes that if she confesses, she might make it out alive.
Haythorne, instead of being harsh and angry and pressing, he was delighted with her. I mean, this was what he wanted to hear.
And how does the devil appear?
I think yesterday I saw a thing like a man, all in black.
When Tituba says she sees the devil, she doesn't say she sees a grotesque winged beast. She says she sees a man.
Tituba describes him as a man in a black hat. Some historians have pointed to the fact that she describes a man who dresses like Samuel Parris.
The crowd is stunned into silence as Tituba begins her story.
He appeared as I was scrubbing the floor.
Serve me.
He told me he was a god, and he asked me to serve him.
Believe in me. Serve me for 6 years, and I will give you many fine things.
He said he was going to hurt the children, and he wanted my help. A few days later, he came back with Good Wife Good.
Spirit from upon this house, we ask that you heal these children.
He offered me a little yellow bird.
Tituba describes the yellow bird flying above the family's praying heads, seen only by her and the children whose eyes had been opened to the invisible world.
She says that the devil sought to make her sign away her soul in his book.
It's a very Protestant vision that there would be a book involved, because of course Puritans are people of the book. It's an especial perversion for an enslaved woman to pick up a pen and make her mark or write her name.
Good signs. Osborne signs. You signs.
He then offered me the book again and made me sign it. but in it written I saw were 9 other names.
It's a shocking revelation that suggests there are 9 other witches in Salem. The courtroom is stunned.
So now the hunt is on.
As Tituba's interrogation concludes, once again, the afflicted children burst into fits.
Who now afflicts these children?